Well, let's go to Pennsylvania. Well, the sentencing hearing for Bill Cosby is still going on as we speak. Of course, Cosby was found guilty in April of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constant in 2004. Now, the 81-year-old Cosby, of course, faces up to 10 years in prison because what they're doing is they actually will merge several of the charges because they actually happen at the same time. And so the judge will make the ultimate decision. Already, you've had fireworks in the courtroom. Of course, Camille Cosby, who was not with Bill Cosby today when he showed up in the courtroom, she is going after this judge, even hiring an attorney to investigate him. Off the bat, the judge dismissed several of the motions that were put forth by the defense. Now, we also had testimony happening today as well, where a psychologist testified that Bill Cosby could do this again if he is allowed out. Now, the defense objected to that, saying that simply is not the case. Of course, he's also been labeled a sexually violent predator by the state as well. Now, a member of the Pennsylvania Sexual Offenders Assessment Board, Kristen Dudley, testified today that Cosby should be labeled a sexually violent predator because he has, according to her, a mental disorder that involves urges towards non-consenting women that he cannot control. Now, the deal is, remember, in this particular case here, okay, the jury's already made their decision. The judge gets to deviate from, of course, from the sentencing as well for the state guidelines. And so all of these things are happening as we speak, and they have not broken for the day. More than likely, they will finish tomorrow because there also was a delay earlier with one of the witnesses, and the judge admonished the defense on that as well. And back to our panel here. What we're seeing again is a lot of back and forth. The Cosby team has already hired an attorney who is an expert at appeals. They are going to argue that he should be allowed to stay free pending the appeal. The judge doesn't have to agree with that. And so the reality is tomorrow, when they expect to finish the sentencing, Bill Cosby could very well be led out of court in handcuffs, turned over to authorities, and taken to a state prison.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, it's sad, and for a lot of us who, I don't want to date anybody on the panel, but a lot of us who grew up watching Bill Cosby, it's a sad day. It's too bad that things like this happen, but clearly, after the jury spoke, you would hope that the judge takes into account also the great works that Bill Cosby did, but you also have to pay for their consequences when bad things happen.
Yeah. And look, I mean, the reality is when things happen, actions are taken. Folks have to also. They expect them to own up to that in sentencing, and that's one of the issues that are being talked about. Michael, you've had to deal with that.
Absolutely.
Going to federal prison, and what often happens is we've seen some cases where once somebody is at the sentencing phase, they apologize for their actions. We saw in Florida where Corinne Brown did not do that, and then then she went to prison. I doubt very seriously Bill Cosby is going to do that, but I'm also intrigued by this tactic of Camille Cosby to constantly be going after the judge. When they had the mistrial, she had the PR folks read a statement that went after this judge. And I'm sitting here going, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. That judge is still going to be overseeing the next trial. Yeah. And so she has been going after this judge repeatedly. And anybody knows in the legal system, if the person who's going to be sentencing you, you don't want to piss that person off. Now, granted, people say, well, no, you have to ignore all of that. But the reality is, we know that ain't the case.
Yeah. Lean, it could be happy.
So I'm very surprised by this tactic that Camille Cosby has been using.
Well, are they still together? Because
yes.
I remember after the
No,
last
that was
trial,
a bullshit Radar Online story.
Okay,
First of all, anything you see in Radar Online, you can ignore. That's like the National Enquirer. The reality is, first of all, that's totally bullshit. Bill Cosby.
Maybe this is a Jedi mind trick of hers.
Bill Cosby
wants him to be sentenced.
Well, I mean, I don't know, but again, Bill Cosby, Camille Cosby, still together.
Well, I don't know. For me, I've always been the one where I've believed that these allegations. I understand the good that he's done, especially for several HBCUs, but I also know that we need to make a difference between a character that he played on TV and a man who was clearly a sexual predator. And so at this point, he is going to have to face the music. There's nothing to explain his actions, and at this point, he's going to have to pay the piper. One way or the other.
Eugene?
I mean, it looks like he's not going to be giving pudding pops to anybody else, going forward. But I mean, look, the guy's 81 years old. The circumstances around this where literally the charges were filed within the last day of the last hour. I don't know if prison is probably the best, necessarily result here. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the judge actually comes down
Look,
with.
but this judge is going to be under lots of pressure because there are going to be people who say, no, we want to see you send him to prison.
Right.
And so he's going to be under that pressure. Remember, to your point, the district attorney who won used this case to say, elect me, I'm putting him in jail. And he was running against the previous DA who cut the deal with Cosby's previous attorney saying he was not going to bring those charges.
Now, I read something interesting, and I don't know the validity of it, but I read something interesting that Camille Cosby actually retained the previous DA to investigate the current judge.
No, she retained someone who had worked at the prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
Because she wants an investigation into this judge. And again, I mean, I'm just very surprised in terms of how aggressive they are in terms of going after
It's not
going after the
what
judge.
I don't understand is the proclivity of people in Pennsylvania, and this also goes to Meek Mill's case, to try to get rid of the judge. I mean, there isn't a track record of Pennsylvania's judicial boards like removing judges from cases. I mean, it doesn't make sense to go after the judge.
What the judge wants to hear is you take responsibility.
Yeah.
That's what the judge wants to hear. You have a better chance of getting lesser time than when you're doing the kind of tactics they're doing now.
Absolutely.
You think he'll take responsibility?
Yeah, take responsibility.
No, do you think Cosby will?
No, absolutely not.
Hell no.
Absolutely
Not for them pudding pops.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.